Good evening, everyone. It is week 8 of the UP football season. It is crazy just to say that out loud, because that means after tonight, we only have one more week of regular season high school football. So we're going to enjoy it as much as we can while we're here. So let's cue the highlights. The Manistee Emeralds on the road to take on the Lawrence Purple Hornets on senior night. Opening drive for the Emeralds, and Parker Graffos on the keeper hits the hole, and it takes 2 tacklers, and he almost gets free, but still a huge game for the Emeralds. Same drive, and JT Mackey getting in on the action with a convoy of blockers on the edge, gets another Emeralds first down in the red zone now, and Graffos up the gut for the score. 2-point attempt is no good. Emeralds now lead 6-0. Lawrence on offense now, opening drive, and Dyshawn Allen, he takes it, disappears in a sea of purple and green before popping out for a nice Purple Hornets gain. Couple plays later, Allen again takes the pitch, and look at Eli Ostermeyer and Gavin Cadeau setting the edge for him, opening the highway up for the score. PAT is good. Hornets now up 7-6. Next launch drive, and Allen handing out stiff arms like they are candy. You get a stiff arm. You get a stiff arm. Goes up the sideline for another huge Hornets game. Same drive, and guess who? Dyshawn Allen with the rock, the stiff arm, the balance, and the power all rolled into one play, and he shows up the acceleration afterwards for another touchdown. And the Purple Hornets keep their playoff hopes alive, beating the Emeralds 28-6. The Mountaineers at home taking on the Ishpeming Hematites. And it was absolute dominations on both sides of the ball for Iron Mountain. Max Jane pounding it in for another Iron Mountain score, and they are up so far and away now, but the Ishpeming Hematites, they are not going to roll over. They are going to fight till the very end as Dawson Lowry, he's going to take the rock, and he's going to hit pay dirt into the end zone, and they would get a 2-point conversion. But in the end, Iron Mountain holds fast, beating the Hematites by a score of 49-14, and they move on to 5-3 on the season. And the Calumet Copper Kings hosting the Hancock Bulldogs for homecoming. And the Copper Kings leading 3-0, get a Nolan Sturos INT to make it even sweeter. Copper Kings on offense now, and Paul Sturos this time using his legs to keep the play alive, and then scrambling to the sideline to get tackled. He would be short, but they convert on a 4th down. Same drive, and this time, big Alan Bjorn rumbles up the middle for a touchdown. PAT is good, and Calumet now goes up 10-0. And how about some love for the fullbacks? And now Calumet in their own end zone, and Sturos uncorks a long ball that is brought in by Carl Kerbla, and it is a huge gain and at midfield for Calumet. And now driving Sturos, this time to Tom Urkla on the screen pass, and he gives a little shimmy to one defender, cuts it back inside, and it takes 4 Bulldogs to bring him down on the goal line now. And Bjorn once again for his 2nd score of the game, and Calumet gets the shutout win over Hancock 30-0. And some more 11-man scores for you as the Alpena Wildcats beat the Escanaba Eskimos 26-20, and the Sault Ste. Marie Blue Devils get their own shutout win over the Benzie Central Huskies 22-0. And the Gwin Molotovers get a forfeit win over West Iron County, and the Menominee Maroons fall to Little Chute, Wisconsin, the Mustangs 15-6. And our last score before we move on, the Oscoda Owls beat the St. Ignace Saints 18-12. And we got the Gremlins of Houghton visiting NEGAUNEE, and some good news and bad news scenario right here. Good news is that the Gremlins score first as they punch it in from Caden Zablink. The bad news is that was their only score of the game. Miners doing it on both sides of the ball, as Eli Van Buren and Brady Ruse, just no room given on the run. And on offense, business as usual, as Gerald Johnson, he's going to take the snap, and he's going to fake the handoff like he does and hit Philip Nelson, because just like Meyer, Nelson is open 24 hours a day. And just as nice as the first time, this time for a touchdown, Johnson to Nelson, and the Miners win again at home over Gremlins 26-6. And we got the Petoskey Northmen up here in the UP to take on the Kingsford Flippers. And now opening drive for Petoskey. And we got a trick play from the Northmen as Parker Schumann uncorks a long one, but Cole Millett not fooled at all. The over-the-shoulder INT, and he is fired up. It would be an empty drive, though, for Kingsford. So Petoskey back on offense, and Rippin Vinning goes up the middle, and he is gone, outrunning everyone for the score. PAT is good. Petoskey up 7-0. But the Flivers are a talented bunch, and this drive was all Toby Wilcox, going up the gut for a huge gain and a Flivers first down. Same drive, and here comes number 7 again. Wilcox this time bouncing it outside, deciding to change direction, go back inside, and get another first down for the Flivers. And you got to give it to the man. He's done all this work, and he hits the hole hard and the defender even harder for the score, and the Flivers get back in the win column, being the Northmen 35-21. And now some 8-man scores. The North Dickinson Nords beat the Kearney NATO Wolves 52-26, and the Rudyard Bulldogs get their own shutout win over the Gaylord St. Mary Snowbirds 27-0. And the North Central Jets, a win is a win. They get it over the forfeit of the Miners, and the Newberry Indians get a huge win over the Engadine Eagles 59-14. How are we all feeling? We all still got a lot of energy. I hope we're not too tired because, oh my gosh, those were amazing highlights. I'm soaking it all in because we only have just a couple more games left tonight and then only a couple more games left next week. But be sure to stick around because we got plenty more scores and highlights when Friday Night Frenzy returns after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Are we still awake? We still feeling good? Get some coffee or just feeling the energy? I appreciate each and every single one of you staying up this late with me to see how amazing all our UP teams and all our athletes are. There's just so many teams to cover, but we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. But we still have a lot of teams that are on the outside looking in, and some teams that are currently in the playoffs, but they want that better seed so they can host a couple. We can show some of those downstate teams what the UP is all about in sports. So enough of me on the screen once again. Let's cue the rest of the highlights. Austin Riddle and the Marquette Redmen with playoff points on the line against Traverse City West. But first quarter, Titans would strike first as Michael Schermerhorn gets in for the touchdown, and a good 2-point conversion makes it 8-0 Titans early. Now, as we know, Redmond's offense can be lethal, and Riddle drops back and finds Owen Beauchamp, and we got a ball game. Redmond down. Now Riddle doing it on defense, forcing the fumble, and Marquette is able to recover. And now they are driving after the turnover. And Riddle, he's going to find another guy. This time, David Eberhardt, who is wide open for the score, and Redmond go back up. But it is quite a tight game, as this time the Titans, they're driving. And Aiden Lewandowski, he sprints towards the end zone, throws a couple defenders off him and the stiff arm, and now the Titans are back up. But the home team, Redmond, we're closing it out here tonight as Desmond Mullen hits a couple moves, gets out of bounds. The next play, Riddle drops back and finds a wide open double J, Justin Jermu for the touchdown. And Marquette holds on 28-15 to punch their ticket to the playoffs. Now it is time for the Bark River Harris Broncos to take on the Westwood Patriots in our game of the week. First quarter, Westwood already up 8-0. And Zach Beckman picking up where he left off last week, finding Marcus Bose all by himself. And now it's just a race between Bose and the cameraman. We do a pretty good job of keeping up with him as he gets in for the score. No good on the 2-point attempt, so they're up 14-0. Still the first, Broncos driving, and Trevor Lippens gets to the outside and one man to beat. It's Beckman who makes the touchdown save and tackle. Same drive though, and this time it's going to be Tristan Halfaday. Takes the quick handoff and goes the whole way into the end zone. They get a good 2-point conversion, but Westwood still leads 14-8. And now Beckman, putting the team on his back as he does, gets in for the touchdown, and the Patriots get an impressive win over the Broncos, 50-8. And the Stevenson Eagles get probably the surprising win of the night over the number 4 Ontonagon Gladiators, 36-16. And the Munising Mustangs get a win via forfeit over the Ironwood Red Devils. And our final score of the night, the Pickford Panthers beat the Cedarville Trojans 44-6. Well, what an amazing night of football, as always, up here in the UP. Marquette punching their ticket. NEGAUNEE definitely locked in. Westwood showing that they are not to be messed with. They'll be a hot team when they have to face off anyone in the playoffs. And Barker Harris, even though it was a rough game for them, they will be great inside of the playoffs. But, I mean, let me know who you think our Player of the Week nominees should be. I'm personally going to nominate Deshaun Allen. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns. He got over 1,000 yards rushing in that game. But, I mean, Austin Riddle had an amazing game. You could probably nominate every Marquette wide receiver along with that. I mean, Toby Wilcox was a workhorse for Kingsford, but just showing, like I said, all the amazing athletes that we have up here. But I want to thank all of you, as always, for tuning in to watch me talk about football. I love doing it. Be sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I hope you all have an amazing night and a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching Friday Night Frenzy on ABC 10.
And follow us on Twitter at ABC10 UP Sports. And while you're at it, give me and Connor a follow as well.
And if you want to stay up to date on all the sports news of the Upper Peninsula, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on our Facebook page.